What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream right here on Cassius Morris Official. The year 2024 is starting off with a bang, man, especially with this Katt Williams interview. So today what we have is going to be clips and highlights, of course, from the infamous Katt Williams interview. It's funny that I can say the Katt Williams interview 2 days after this coming out, and people know exactly what I'm talking about for the most part. But if you don't, the famous comic was on the Club Shay Shay podcast, which is, of course, a weekly podcast hosted by Shannon Sharpe. Shout out to Shannon Sharpe, by the way, making big moves in the world of media, not only sort of sticking with the sports stuff, but also going far beyond that and really having a big one with this interview. So that's really going to be the most of this stream today. We're going to go over all these clips. And shout out to everybody who's been watching the streams, man, by the way. It's been an awesome time. If you're liking these videos, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe. And, of course, we have channel memberships open down below to get exclusive content that you're not going to get otherwise. So make sure to click that channel membership button down below as well. So what clip should we get into first, guys? I was thinking we could maybe just jump right into the big clip of this interview, which is the Harvey Weinstein and Diddy clip. Let me see what the chat is saying. Should we jump into the Diddy clip? Katt Williams is hilarious. I would completely agree. Only saw a few clips. Shout out to TFT. Shout out to Youth Among Us. Yeah, let's just do it, man. Let's jump into the Diddy. So this is going to be interesting.
All of these
we're going to full screen it.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Hey, that's a good point, by the way. Anybody who's against all these dudes being exposed for all their deviance, think about what they got going on behind closed doors. That's a very good point.
Another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of get this one here.
Right.
Well, they're drinking.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
I love how Shannon Sharpe needs a whole bottle for this one. Like, bro must have been stressed out by the end of this interview. Look how much more he's drank than Katt Williams. Bro's got fucking half a bottle left. He's so stressed.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
oh, because
I was gonna ask you that.
Because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
You will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
And that's probably the reason Katt Williams is still here untouched, by the way. I think he knows a lot more than people realize.
They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike, because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told them to go get the Prowler. I then told them to paint it purple. I told them don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that
But I
no
didn't
one's
know it
ever
was a
heard.
lie.
Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Kat. Normally when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows or has ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are like, this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing
What?
5 shows a week.
5 shows a week, $3,000 a show in cash. Now, I'm one of the people who actually thought Steve Harvey was homeless. I mean, that's always been actually an inspiration to me as a young dude who like wants to be in the same sort of field as like a Steve Harvey and, you know, in my dream scenario. That was always an encouraging thing for me to know that Steve Harvey was homeless and then made it out of it. But I guess you can't trust shit in this world.
They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had...
Now, hang on a second. Now, Katt is going in on a lot of different topics right now. So let's break it down. Let's just break this down for a second because, yeah, I agree with youth among us in the chat. I'm a little confused, but let's unconfuse ourselves here. So first he was talking about one of the major projects that he did. I don't know the movie he's talking about because I didn't see it, but I guess they were trying to take a lot of credit off of him. Next, he's talking about Steve Harvey, I guess, pretending to be homeless, as we talked about. And now he's breaking down that a lot of comics have sort of fudged their history as well. Now, this is sort of interesting for me to hear because I know a lot of comedians. I worked at a comedy club for 3 years, and, you know, I've been in and around the comedy business for about a decade. So the one thing that I sort of would challenge Katt on here, and, you know, not that he doesn't know better than most of us or probably all of us, but, you know, I have heard to the contrary about Tiffany Haddish. I think Tiffany Haddish was around in the scene, and Tiffany did respond to his comments. We can pull that up in a little bit. But him stating that Tiffany didn't put work in at the Comedy Store, I don't think is true, because I know people from the Comedy Store, and they were always talking about Tiffany Haddish. But again, he's the one on the ground. People can talk all they want. He's the one who's been on the ground, and he knows better. But that's just to unpack the last couple minutes of what he's spoken on here.
At his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of.
And I would say, by the way, that Tiffany Haddish definitely, to me, she shows signs of being an industry plant. I'm not saying he's wrong at all. But, you know, I was just having this conversation before I got on the air. People will talk about somebody who's been planted by the industry as if they didn't have to do any work. But you do have to do a lot of work to even get noticed by the industry in order to be planted. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to want to plant you in the industry unless they've seen what you can do. I'm not saying it's right to have industry plants or that it's not cheating, essentially. But you can't act like these people did nothing to get noticed. Tiffany Haddish is definitely a strange story. Don't even get me going.
And had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like,
Facts.
It's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Read between the lines in this, man. That's all I can say about this. Read between the lines.
Because Shannon Sharpe got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built.
So
all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do?
Whoa. Okay, now we're talking about bombshells. Hang on a second. Harvey Weinstein did what now?
What did he say?
And they canceled him for that. Now remember this, guys. The people doing the canceling in many cases also had the knowledge about Harvey Weinstein. If you have the power to cancel somebody, you also have the knowledge of other powerful people. So the thing that sort of is crazy to me is that they canceled him when they knew this was true. That gives a lot of what he says after this a lot of credit, man. Let's keep it rolling.
He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get that?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he has 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars.
Man, this dude's really got it out for Steve Harvey. But look, we got to remember, man, Steve Harvey to us is just a television personality. To Katt Williams, he's actually dealt with these dudes, worked alongside these dudes, and known these dudes for years and years. So I'm just here to listen. Again, I feel like I could definitely see a lot of things Steve Harvey, talked about being enhanced for television. Let's put it that way.
What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life. So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you gotta be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is. But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not gonna have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym, but you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
Ooh, bro, he is cooking. Katt Williams cooking in this interview. God damn.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay. Let's get to your upbringing. We're going to circle back and we'll get some...
I want to protect him real quick, because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019, but did you mean 1999? Because it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't. No. So what I meant to say was, remember, he said I couldn't do stand-up anymore. I had 7 TV shows. I said he didn't have any of those TV shows at the time.
I know you talking about Cedric.
Joke stealing from Cedric.
Cedric.
Okay,
So you had said that 2018, 2019, but it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, no.
We got Illuminati consult in the room.
What comes out in 2000?
The original Kings of Comedy.
Right. I'm on BET's Comic View, and they're using this as the commercial in 1998. Okay. That's why I'm saying, yeah. So if I said the dates wrong,
let's go back and clear that up.
Okay.
You said,
98. I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times, and Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon, I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that? Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Now,
Well, that's a fact.
had to turn down $50 million for...
Hold on, we're going to go back on. I think this is where he's finally going to speak on Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and R. Kelly. That's what this clip is called. And bro's been talking about Steve Harvey for 19 fucking minutes. Let's see if he's got some other stuff.
Change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Whoa, did he just expose Diddy now? Look at Shannon Sharpe's face. He's like, I just lost my job, bro. Shannon Sharpe fighting for his life during this broadcast.
I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say I'm so...
He pours another shot, bro. He's gonna need it after that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Because early on, you was accusing me of being
Katt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people...
Bro, why are they cutting it up, though? I feel like they're cutting out something else that he said. Shannon Sharpe is like, listen, I'm alive and I enjoy being alive. He's like, Katt Williams, you're endangering that for me. He's like, I feel like if Katt Williams wants to die, he can go on his own suicide mission. I kind of feel bad for Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats on 200 subs, T.
It's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it.
Yeah.
That's how Diddy be feeling.
Come on, man.
Bro, look at the fear that it strikes in people when you talk about Diddy. What they do when you speak on Diddy is they either clam up and start freaking out, or they like ridiculously overreact. Like Shannon Sharpe reduced to a giggling 4-year-old when Diddy's mentioned. Like, bro, this is such a ridiculous, over-the-top reaction to change the topic, by the way, like to clearly just divert the attention.
Diddy be feeling.
Come on, man.
Like, bro's laughing like he's never heard the accusations before. He's like, where do you get this silly stuff, Katt? You and your crazy theories. As if he's not the 1,000th person to fucking call out Diddy for the same shit repeatedly. It's not like there's, if there's 1,000 different accusations against a guy, you see that a lot with presidents and stuff. Like, there's 1,000 accusations and most of them are bullshit. That's one thing. But when there's 1,000 of the same accusation against the same person and they all match up, I mean, that's why I sort of do believe Diddy's guilty. Again, you're technically innocent until proven guilty. But dude, how much evidence are we going to need? He won't even talk about it, youth.
So you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want.
Not me personally, just because God has given me literally everything I ever even pump faked like I want. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is I don't have a type of woman. Every woman that I ever had as a type, I ended up getting her. Now she's not the type anymore. Now I understand that every woman is a one of one. Like, you can't really have types.
Katt Williams dropping major game in his interview. If you're just joining the stream, man, these are clips from the Club Shay Shay podcast interview where he went absolutely crazy, dropping all types of names and all types of game. The first thing that really struck me was the Harvey Weinstein, man, because again, Katt Williams was in Harvey Weinstein movies. It's not like this dude is just some random guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. So the fact that he actually tried to get canceled, or they tried to cancel him for speaking on Harvey Weinstein in the first place, is insane to me. The other thing is the Diddy stuff, because again, it is not like we haven't heard these things about Diddy time and time and time again. So let me know in the chat what you guys think so far about this interview. I'm pulling up a couple other clips now. Shout out to New FC. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Youth. Shout out to TFT in the chat. Make sure to smash that like button if you guys haven't, man. If you have, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And let's pull up the next clip here. I'm going to go to a couple Twitter highlights. I like Katt Williams, man. Katt Williams has always been real. From what I can at least, understand from watching him sort of in his interviews. He always seems like he's been real. So here's what we'll do. We're going to look at the Ludacris clip that he has, and then we're going to go to Luda's response. So this is him speaking on Ludacris.
Folks.
Are you related to Luda?
No. So there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us. We were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done a... Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people?
Yes.
It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200?
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now?
10 more.
Come on, man.
200 million. I might need to get me one of them old women look the same.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay.
Holy shit, man. Katt Williams eating up the entire industry right now. Listen, I don't know if anybody's thought about it before, but I do not want to be enemies with the likes of Katt Williams. Saying that basically Luda sold his soul for all this money to go do some shit. And look, at the end of the day, I could believe these stories. I could believe a lot of these stories, man. Look, it's not just Hollywood either, man. Anybody who skyrockets to a high level of fame, I feel like most of those people, there's something else going on. And then there's like a small, even like smaller than 1% percentage. It's like in the 0.00s type of shit. There's a small percentage of people like the Katt Williams who can reach a certain level comparable to that, but not have to do weird shit. You know, the guys that I tend to follow or enjoy their work, I would like to believe that they're part of that small minority who hasn't. And the thing is, it's not always evil stuff that brings people, you know, to be industry plants or whatever. Like, people think it's always selling your soul to the devil, quote unquote, or Illuminati and all this shit. That's not the case. Most of it is just connections. I would say there's more rich people and famous people in this business, especially actors, musicians, who are connected with through nepotism, you know, through family and things like that, or they're trust fund babies. You know, if you look up rappers who are related or actors who are related, there's so many people in this business who are related that you wouldn't even know it. And that's a huge part of why they're successful. Then I would say the other percentage is people who, again, it's just trust fund kids who had a lot of money, people who just had disposable income and a bit of business smarts to make themselves popular and then get discovered eventually. And then there's the other percentage, which I think does nefarious, sometimes disgusting, quote unquote, evil things to get to where they are. So being in the position of a Katt Williams, man, you've come across all of those. That's the thing. You come across all of that as a Katt Williams. And he's in the 0.000 whatever percentage of people who probably just got lucky. You know, I would say a guy like XXXTentacion was in that 0.00 percentage. He just put music on SoundCloud and he just happened to blow up. There's really doesn't appear to be anything else behind it. That's a very rare thing, though, to just blow up off your own merit with no strings attached, no financing, no industry. It's almost impossible, but it is possible. So he exposed Luda. Let's look at Ludacris. Ludacris put this response, I guess a rap response. So we're going to look at this now.
Whatever's heavy on my heart is always on my mind. Like Snoop's cannabis shredder, I'm always on my grind. They throwing shade cause niggas could never take my shine. I bring my watch collection on my jet, let me take my time. Like fine wine, I'm aging like Benjamin. Top 5, I'm worth mentioning. Bring me rappers, I'm lynching them. See the pendulum swing, Jesus with diamond thorns. Ludacris, swaddled in Gucci linens when I was born. Never been Illuminati, only Illuminati. And I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Now I'm married with kids, the evolution of life. Never been a clout chaser, never say shit for likes. R.I.P. John Singleton. You never have to flex when you earn every one of your Fast and Furious checks. Afro with the sideburns, yeah, that's my signature. Addictions on the rise, comedians check your temperature.
Oh, that was so gross. That was so gross. What was that, man? Now, when you talk about people being used to spread an agenda, this to me is a phenomenal example of somebody being used to spread an agenda. So, Luda, here's what we're going to need you to do, okay? we're going to need you to rap because that's the way that you reach these people, right, Luda? That's the way that you reach these communities. You got to rap it to them. You can't just say it to them, Luda, okay? We're going to need you to get in the studio, put on a Kanye instrumental because Kanye's down, right? Kanye's down with the streets. And then you need to rap that you're not part of the Illuminati, okay, Luda? Okay, click. That's how I fucking picture that conversation going. What a fucking disgrace. What an absolute fucking disgrace. Okay, let's keep it going. That was some bullshit. And look, the top response. The most important job of someone who sold their soul is to act like they never did it. Katt Williams. Damn, that was creepy. That was really creepy. Okay, let's go to the next one. I think there's another rap diss track. Trick Daddy is... Why does everybody rap in response to him? What does Trick Daddy say?
Ass feeling of getting ways and you say all type of shit you ain't supposed to say. See, there's a lot of shit about certain rap niggas I could say, but I know it's some shit that I shouldn't say, so I don't say it. You said some slick shit about me in one of your stand-up, you was being sarcastic saying that if Trick Daddy could own a restaurant, you could do anything. Look.
Is Trick Daddy driving on the right side? Or is that like an optical illusion by the way this video is filmed? What a weird video. Bro's like, this is just the weirdest response. Like, why don't you just park the car and do it?
Well, nigga, you bulldagging looking ass fuck, nigga.
Bro, if Trick Daddy crashed into me while making a diss video to Katt Williams, I'm suing everybody. Keep your fucking eyes on the road, you clown.
My name out your mouth. I'm not no comedian. I'm a street nigga first, okay? Keep my name out your mouth, bitch ass nigga. Keep Ricky Smiley name out your mouth. Keep all OG's name out your mouth. If you don't like a person, you don't say it. I've told people that I didn't think you was funny. I ain't never said I didn't like you.
Yeah, he's driving without a seatbelt too. That's what I'm seeing in the chat. No seatbelt. Just fucking negligence.
And I'm glad I didn't never say I didn't like you, because by me not thinking you were funny, I actually saw you one day and I was laughing my ass off. I was crying laughing one day. Remember that little boy put you in the headlock? I was crying fucking laughing that day, nigga. Listen, man, stop talking about other niggas to be relevant in the game, the trend. Because you was trending today and I'm going to be trending tomorrow on your bitch ass.
You know what's actually beautiful to see? And I got to say, this is a really nice way, I think, to start 2024. First of all, we'll give a round of applause to Katt Williams for kicking this motherfucking year off with a bang. Do you understand me? Because, look, I love to see all these little celebrities running scared. Even the OGs are running scared. Look, in this video, Trick Daddy might seem like he's coming off as, I don't know, intimidating. He's coming off as scared. And they're all running fearful. Because this is the deal. Listen to exactly what Trick Daddy said in this video right in the beginning. He said, I know a lot of things about rappers that I don't say because I know I shouldn't say them. So you're basically saying everything Katt Williams said is true. Look, they can call Katt Williams a lot of things. They can call Kanye a lot of things. They can call Dave Chappelle a lot of things. Crazy, unhinged, eccentric. But they never call them wrong, though. And they never call them liars. That's the one thing. They will never call them a liar. Katt Williams is nuts. Katt Williams fought with a guy. They never said he's a liar, though. Because he's not a liar. This house of cards is coming down, my friends. There has been people in this industry doing some shady shit. And it's coming down. Let's watch a little more. This is Katt Williams speaking on the race baiting and racial division that has been going on in our world, which I'm completely against as well. I see it as a means to distract us, to divide us, to keep our wallets empty. Let's see what Katt says.
They canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side.
I gotta run that one back. Hang on a second.
They canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Man, that's refreshing, dude. Listen, this is really refreshing to see and hear. I'm not even going to lie. Let's go back to a couple other clips from Shannon Sharpe's channel, man. I've definitely been impressed by this. I also got another clip from an older interview that I don't think a lot of people have seen, where he spoke even more directly about this stuff. So we're going to pull that up next. New FC says, I could see Katt Williams getting unalived. Well, I could definitely see that too, New FC, because think about this. They say you get a couple of chances, you get a couple strikes when you cross this line. So first what they'll do is they'll try to blackball you from the industry, not give you any work, which they've done with Katt Williams before. That's something that they've done with him, but it hasn't really worked because he's big enough to do his own stuff. Next, what they'll try to do is make you seem and appear to be crazy. So that's also what they've done with Katt Williams. They try to make him seem crazy. But the funny thing is, anytime you actually see Katt Williams sit down and speak, he never seems crazy. Same with a lot of these other guys. Dave Chappelle. Does Dave Chappelle seem crazy to you? Like, if you watch a Dave Chappelle interview and you watch the way he speaks, that doesn't seem to me like a guy who's crazy. You know, all these crazy guys are pretty sane when you sit down and hear from them, unedited, unobstructed, separate from the mainstream media. Something really interesting about that. But guess what? If they aren't successful in making you seem crazy, there's really only one other option. There's only one other option. So I really hope that we don't have to go down that road. Speaking of Dave Chappelle, let's look at this clip here. Katt on Dave Chappelle.
The one comedian that we've been sitting here doing this interview that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right.
I will let you tell it.
No, you're the
No,
best.
I want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You proving it here today. As much as I'm proving it, you proving it. You proving it. Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that. He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
By the way, Johnny in the chat says, so if you don't believe in God, you're against him or on the wrong side, get the fuck out of here. No, Johnny, you gotta read between the lines, bro. To some people, it's God. Like, look, I'm not religious myself, so I don't think of, when people say God, I don't think the actual religion. It's more of a metaphor for good and evil. And so that's really what it is. Like, it's not like you have to be a Christian to be on the good side. It's just to some people, God represents the positive and the light. But you can take that in any way that you interpret it. The thing is that whether or not we're necessarily religious, a lot of people in Hollywood do believe in the good and bad side of religion. So that's, I think, where this comes from. I think if you are surrounded by people who actually believe in the negative side of religion, you will naturally gravitate to the positive side of religion as a sort of defense mechanism. That's the way I see it.
I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bro, he's going to kill Shannon Sharpe with the stress at the end of this interview.
Come on.
Because early on, you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga. Go do what you got to do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I got to read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling you, I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas. And that's how I got in this position.
I sure hope I have a Club Shay Shay after this air.
Bro, look at his face. Look at Shannon Sharpe's face. Damn, dude, the industry is running scared at the start of 2024. I'm excited to see the end of this year. Listen, everybody's talking about the start of this year. What I'm excited to see is the big, you know, the middle and end of this year, how crazy that shit's going to be. Because we're going to some uncharted waters, my friends. This is a real battle now. We're going to look at Katt Williams speaking on Ice Cube. We're going to look at the Ice Cube clip and then Ice Cube's response. Then I want to go ahead and pull the unearthed Katt Williams interview where he speaks on the Illuminati.
I've had Cube. I've talked to
separate from this. That interview was really revealing as well.
I've had Cube. I've talked to Cube. A lot of people say Cube doesn't pay. What's your relationship with Cube, and what did that opportunity mean for you?
Well, the ungrateful bastards that would say anything about Cube's payment, you shouldn't even talk to them anymore. Like, you don't go to Goodwill, you don't go to a Goodwill thrift store and go, look at all this cheap ass shit. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you shut up? You could have went to Hermes. Why you didn't go to Balenciaga? Why you didn't get a bowl of the Balmain? You want to have that conversation? Right. What you mean, the independent black dude who's filming it partly out of his fucking pocket? What you mean he didn't pay you enough? They weirdos.
That's a good point, man, because when Cube was doing movies like Friday, they cobbled together the money to do that. Ice Cube wasn't Ice Cube with the money like he has today. So that's a good point.
Weirdos that felt like they earned the opportunity because they were big. No,
Yeah.
I understood.
That ain't no $200 million movie. Well, I mean, how much did you expect you was going to make?
Well, I made enough to get them teeth fixed just like you did.
Yeah.
So it was no harm, no foul. I knew that I was going to go from there, and there was no
turning back for Katt Williams.
Well, here's the thing. I wrote it. What I'm saying if I did it and I did a good job at it, you can thank me. I was involved.
Right.
I'm not gonna come later on and tell you, I never even read the whole script. So how you know what roles? What? What do you mean you never read the these guys' whole job is to present something, unfortunately. And I'm just not a presenter. If you ask me a question, I'm just gonna tell you the truth of how it went.
Would you be willing to do another Friday?
Cube already asked me to write it. I was supposed to have been writing it. This is what these guys are mad about. Like, we lost some great people before this movie could come out regardless. Right. And so, yes, there desperately needs to be one. But we miss John Witherspoon in a way that can't really be quantified, right, if I'm being honest with you. And the Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Oh.
Damn. So he's exposing. Hang on a second. He said Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Now, That is something I have heard a lot of, by the way, folks. I've heard a lot of weird shit about Chris Tucker. I feel like he's been a little under the radar lately. A lot of other people taking heat. Chris Tucker been being mentioned.
Oh, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be
What a G.
confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday? Smokey was all in Smokey. There ain't no Friday without Smokey.
We all agree to that, and there's no next Friday without Friday, and there's no Friday after next without
Nah,
Friday.
we talk about the road because you said that they don't.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Chris was allowed to make the decision. At the time that this is happening, Katt Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed.
Right.
Snoop's known for smoking weed, but none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither. Must be the greatest.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to get nobody back. I ain't gonna be able to get no more comedians.
They all coming.
No, they ain't.
Are you kidding?
Nah.
Hey, I
A good
promise
thing
you.
I done got all the rest of them. I done got the ones.
I promise you, everybody trying to double back. You're gonna be having to beat them off with a stick. You gonna let him? They're coming. Much as. The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with.
Whoa. What did he say? The original actor got... I'm not even going to repeat that for the terms of service. Hang on.
In the original script got raped in the bathroom. The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped.
Hold on. Money Mike... original actor. Why does it say Katt Williams? Who's the original? If anybody knows, let me know.
In the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios.
Oh, it was a scene. Okay, gotcha. I thought he was talking real life. It was a scene in the movie, and they had to get it cut out. Gotcha.
And the cast.
Shout out Johnny in the chat.
And our powers that be in his very first movie, and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy,
right,
where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are.
Yeah, who the hell wrote that into the movie? That makes no sense. Yeah, guys, I don't really remember the movie, by the way, but who would write that in? Like, why was that even in there in the first place?
And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped. So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? 35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was gonna play Money Mike. No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? Why? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote. So what Ricky Smiley say on his? You can't say my lines, I wrote them. That's how I already know that I'm going to be funnier than you. What he told everybody was, Katt Williams, don't nobody know who he is. I'm on the radio. I'm with Steven Said. Everybody know me. That's what he told everybody that would listen to on the set. That's the truth of the matter. He was so egregious, not now, then. He was so egregious that, and Hollywood has never heard this in 100 years. He was so egregious, I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what...
What
was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract.
Why would you put that in your contract, Katt?
That's where he's a believable actor.
Wow. By the way, the interview that we're going to pull up in a second here, Katt Williams was one of the first people. He keeps speaking on men in dresses, particularly black men in dresses. And it is because, folks, Katt was the first guy to point out that every time you see a successful black comedy actor, especially, they're always forced to be dressed in drag and wearing dresses. And it's true. I can't name a single successful actor in that demographic who hasn't. The Wayans brothers, Kevin Hart, what's the other guy's name? The guy who was in Bad Boys. You guys know Martin Lawrence, all these guys. Eddie Murphy. Tyler Perry, the list goes on and on. There is something very strange about that and demeaning about that. Dave Chappelle definitely pointed this out too. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, I think, and Katt Williams are very much hand in hand.
Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life.
Tyler Perry's always creeped me out, by the way. I've always thought Tyler Perry did more harm than good. In terms of representation.
And to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
So that's why, because when we released that clip and he said that, you responded because he said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie.
Terry Crews also said that you guys had a lot of conversation, that this was your opportunity.
Bro, I love that. Why'd he say it? Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. Bro doesn't have a dishonest bone in his body.
He was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie.
Terry Crews also said that you guys had a lot of conversation, that this was your opportunity and you needed to seize this moment.
Terry had the benefit of having been in some very high-profile situations already and took L's. Mm-hmm. Like, he had been in the league. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He had done pro wrestling. He had done a lot of things. He had been televised and some things that hadn't worked.
Right.
And this was just fortuitous for him. And now you know what nobody has ever said in the whole industry in 20 years about, the whole Money Mike not getting raped in the bathroom.
Right.
So I understood going in that there's no reason. I lost for a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, that all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? Mm-hmm. And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was. And acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard. But, yeah, it's interesting, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Wow, man. This is an absolutely fascinating discussion between Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe. And it is fascinating to me, man, just due to the fact that all these guys have been through shit. All these dudes that he's mentioning, Terry Crews. Terry Crews came out and spoke about being victimized by sort of strange men in Hollywood as well. Being groped, being grabbed. There's a lot of weird shit. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on in this business. And guys, again, we don't hear rumors about stuff like this as often when it's not true. Are there fake rumors? Are there things that go down, that become popular opinion that aren't true? Absolutely. But damn, we've been hearing these same things about Hollywood in this business forever now. For ages. Okay, let's hop into this video. So we got Ice Cube speaking on Katt Williams and responding to everything that was just said about this. And people do lie for a reason. Shout out to Johnny in the chat. People do lie for a reason. I would say most of the reason that they want to lie is to make Katt look bad. I mean, obviously it's to advance themselves and make him look bad. Here's Ice Cube responding.
Say, we shot that movie over 20 years ago, so, people have different perspectives, and it's been a long time. I also want to say, every comedian that I've worked with, every comedian that I've put in a movie, I only put them in the movie because I thought they was funny. I thought they was perfect for the part. I tried to put them in a position to win. That's what it's all about, I look at from, Chris Tucker and Bernie Mac and Mike Epps, Katt Williams, Ricky Smiley, Michael Blackson, Cedric, Kevin Hart. All these guys I know are funny as hell. I didn't discover them. They were doing their stand-up or doing their thing, and I knew that they were great and that they could act, and that if I have an opportunity, I was gonna give them an opportunity. To me, that's what it's all about. As far as specific things, Katt was 100 on a few things. Most of what he was saying, a couple things, I just want to clarify. When we bring in a new, comedian, we do have them try out for different roles. So Ricky did give Money Mike a shot. But when we saw him and, we kind of saw how he moved and how he was, auditioning, we decided that he would be a better, Santa Claus, which was, to me, the perfect casting. When we saw Mike, damn, I call him Money Mike. When we saw Katt, when I saw him, I just knew that he was perfect for Money Mike. And, Katt, said he wrote his role, which, the role was written, but he enhanced it. This is why Katt was so dope in the movie. Money Mike had a small role, about as big as the Santa Claus role, but when we start filming, he was giving us such magic that we kept expanding his role, giving him more to do because he was on point. When we shoot these movies, for one, the scripts are fire, or they wouldn't even do it. The scripts are laugh out funny. But we shoot the script, but once we get what we need from the script, we let the comedians ad-lib, riff, play with the words, do their thing. We give them a take where they can, or 2, 3 takes where they can go off and do what they feel. Sometimes it makes the movie, sometimes it don't. When somebody gives you jewels, you want to try to make sure that makes the movie.
Cube speaking a lot of facts here, by the way. And this actually makes sense why they could have sort of been confused, and maybe there was a misunderstanding with him and Katt, because Katt seemed to perceive it like he didn't want to do any sort of cross-dressing type of stuff, homosexual stuff, and that's why the role was given away. Cube sort of saying on the other hand of it that roles are often shifted around when they're trying to make a project like this, and this is true. For example, with The Sopranos, they decided at the very end of the casting process who was actually going to play Tony Soprano. The role of Tony Soprano almost went to Steven Van Zandt, who ended up being Tony Soprano's right-hand man. And I think they even considered Steve Sharpe to play Tony Soprano, but he ended up playing another mafia guy. So in the world of Hollywood and television, there is a lot of shifting of roles. So this is cool to hear the OG, Ice Cube explaining himself. I got a lot of respect for Ice Cube, and I respect that he even said Katt kept it real in this interview through most of it, because Cube to me is like Katt. Cube turned down a lot of money to get the vaccine, for example. I think $20 million he lost to get the vaccine. So definitely a solid dude who I respect. I see in the chat here, it says, if a man puts on a dress, is he automatically gay, or is he confident about his sexuality and doesn't care? I feel like no, you're not automatically anything. If you're doing an acting job, it's an acting job. But I feel like the issue that is being brought up by the likes of Katt Williams and Dave Chappelle is, why is every single black comedy actor forced to wear drag and dress as women? For every Robin Williams who does a Mrs. Doubtfire for one role, in these other demographics, there's a Russell Crowe, there's a Daniel Day-Lewis, there's a Jason Statham. There's actors in those leagues, in those demographics at that level who don't have to do this. And if they do it, it's maybe as a one-time thing in a role. What happens a lot of the times with black actors, especially in the comedy field, is they're only able to work if they continue to do this. So I think that's the strange thing. It's like Robin Williams can go do Mrs. Doubtfire, but then go do Good Will Hunting. But why is Tyler Perry in a dress all the time? Why are they making the Wayans brothers? You know what I mean? So that to me is at least how I'm perceiving it. Yeah, Jay, I see what you're saying in the chat, Jay, but it's for a role. It's not like they're putting on a dress for fun. It's very different. It's like if you play a gay character, I don't think that even makes you gay. It's acting.
So in the movie, there's second thing I want to clear up. I would never shoot a rape scene in a movie, especially like Friday, where you actually see this happening on camera. That ain't my style. If you check out any of my movies, they not raunchy. We did a movie called Players Club where the subject matter was a little raunchy, but for the most part, even that, we left it to your imagination. So the only reason that kind of stuff is in the movie is because you have three villains in Friday After Next. You have Santa Claus stealing presents. You have Damon, just got out of prison, sweating. Craig and Diddy for the rent money. And then you have Money Mike, a pimp that treats his woman, like a property. So Craig is always fighting the villains in the movie, from the Joker brothers to Debo. And so we already had Craig fighting Santa Claus. And the only real way to get rid of the other two villains was to have them go against each other. And the plier joke was always in the script, was never, we would never ever show that, that's not my style if you look at any of my movies.
I'm seeing in the chat too, they don't make these actors wear a dress. Well, look, they don't make these actors do anything. I mean, they're free to leave at any time, but if you tell an actor that you're never going to work again if you don't wear this dress, and that's their only source of income, that is kind of forcing them to do it. It's kind of like here in Canada when they, our prime minister says he never forced anybody to take a COVID vaccine. But he fired people if they didn't take the COVID vaccine. There were nurses of 20 plus years who lost their employment for not taking a vaccine. So yes, the nurse wasn't technically forced, but if you're going to take away their livelihood and blackball them, that may as well be forcing them. That's at least the way I see it. But again, keep putting your opinions, guys. I want to know what you guys think. This is an open discussion, man. This isn't one-sided. Like we're all talking here and figuring this out because this is just fascinating shit to me.
So, you know, that was never a discussion. You know, we, you know, at that point in everybody's career, you know, we would listen to a certain extent, but we wasn't gonna change the movie for any actor. You know, we do what we feel, and if it was a rape scene, it would have been in the movie. There was no reason not to shoot it. But that's not my style. I don't even like that kind of shit in movies, on camera. And so, you know, that was, to me, a little discrepancy there. You know, Katt, he wrote a lot of his part because, you know, like I said, he was giving us jewels, so we were keeping the camera rolling. He was coming off the dome. He was coming prepared every day to steal the show. You know, that was his mission. And, you know, that's what he did, you know, with the movie. And it launched his career, you know. And I'm proud of the movie. I'm proud of all the guys who've, you know, come through, you know, Acute Vision production and went on to do bigger and better things. And look, you know, a lot of people are talking about pay and how much they was paid on these movies that were extremely low budget. You know, most of these guys work a couple of days, you know. And when you're doing a movie, there's over 100 people working on the movie that need to get paid. Most of them got to get paid every day. And there's pre-production and post-production. Even after you finish with the actors, you got to pay editors and sound people. And my movies are all about quality, so most of the money go up on the screen. I'm not giving you no bullshit. I'm not giving you no low budget, you know, shit you can laugh at because it's so cheap. So, you know, we try to put all the money on the screen. And so any actor that's mad at what they got paid, you know, just look at what you was doing. Look at where your career was at the time. You know, take a look at where it is now. And Friday has something to do with that, I believe. And I put a lot of people in movies, but they ain't never put me in a movie. So you could take that for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? I've given a lot of these guys opportunities. And I still act, so I'm waiting for a call. I ain't got to produce everything or write everything. I got love for all the comedians that I've worked with. Got, you know, much love for Katt. You know, he spoke up for me a lot. And I just wanted to be clear and clarify some things. And shit, man. I hope y'all have a good 2024. Yeah.
Huge shout out to Ice Cube, man. Listen, let me just say, I got the utmost respect for the way that Ice Cube handles himself, man. I mean, Ice Cube is definitely part of a dying breed. To me, he's a real man because he sits there and he thinks about what he wants to say. He doesn't shoot off at the mouth. He takes his time when speaking. You can tell that Ice Cube has really thought about what he wanted to say here and didn't just turn on a camera and start spouting shit out. You can also tell that this interview seems to have really rocked Ice Cube in the sense that it came out and is really, like, this interview, guys, is making waves in the industry, the likes of which we can't even fathom. Because, look, when you think about how many big-name celebrities are actually coming out and speaking on this, you have to imagine that every sort of executive, assistant, manager, publicist in the business, like, they're all talking about this. If these guys are speaking on this, like Ice Cube, for example, that means Ice Cube's team is speaking on this. And all of the people who work for Ice Cube are working on dealing with this. So this interview is really making waves like we've never seen before. So it, you know, again, it's really good that this interview is happening, but I really respect the way Ice Cube handled that. And I also respect the fact that he stood his ground on the fact that he does support Katt. Katt has been there for him, and he's not just going to turn around and diss Katt Williams because it's convenient now. You know, Ice Cube is a real one. I got to honestly give him that, man. Let's see what we got here. So this clip just came out. This is Michael Blackson he's speaking on. Let's check this out. So I did see part of this. He claims that Michael Blackson, I guess, has a fake accent.
Most comedians don't get booed enough. I mean, this is how you end up with a Michael Blackson who's a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay, this guy is mad at me. All I did was give him the best advice of his life. Remember, he was wearing dirty dashikis. And I told him he needed to dress to be in the position that he's trying to say that he's in. And if you're the African king of comedy, sir, there's actually comedians in Africa doing comedy. If you're going to say that, you got to go to Africa and get a school, dude. Everybody got, you got to put in some work. And these guys, they take my advice. They change their whole persona. And then they hate me for it. And generally, I'm just too big to comment or make a statement about it or do a live or any of that. But when it gets to be a whole grouping of these guys, I gotta come and talk to Shannon.
Shout out Shannon Sharpe.
I gotta lay it down at the altar.
You know every comedian.
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin praying. This is the reckoning. 2024. The reckoning.
You watch that. You know every comedian that's been on my show. You know, you watched every episode. Cause
no,
you know.
That's not what you said. You said I know every comedian.
You know every comedian.
You're limiting me.
Oh, you watched every episode because you know things. You know things.
That's always where I'm trying to come from, whether it's comedic or otherwise. That's why even if you see me get arrested 10 times in a row on TV, as a fan of mine, you can be like, he finna be right out. Yeah, but they just said he didn't do it. He couldn't have. It's stupid. Why would he do something stupid knowing he got to come back and talk to us? Nah, they respect that every time it happens, I'm going to be free as a bird sitting out here talking to you about it, that it really was what I said it was. That's all.
Okay, well, we're just going to keep these clips rolling, man. Listen, if you guys are liking the Katt Williams stream so far, please make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. You guys know the drill by now. Usually we're at the mercy of the algorithm, but this is the one way we can get ahead by clicking those buttons. I got to answer this. My partner, who I was going to have a 4 o'clock meeting with, has COVID, so I'm going to answer him, tell him to get well. And we're going to go long on the stream because I was going to have to log off right now, actually. Monday works, rest up. Hey, listen, I got to show my people some love, even if I'm in the middle of a stream. So now it's time to go long, motherfuckers. I guess we're going long today. All right, man. So look, we're going to keep going with the Katt Williams interview. Now check this out. I've always thought Michael Blackson was a shady guy. I don't know about you guys, but there's always been something that's like a false sort of attitude of being genuine with Michael Blackson that I've never really understood. So that's honestly the only thing I could say. Let's just keep it going.
What do you think about Kanye rants?
He's going to speak on Kanye and Kim.
What do you think about Kanye rants? What's going on with Kanye? From a distance, obviously, I don't know how well you know Kanye. I don't know if you've been around Kanye, but from a distance, what do you suspect's going on?
I suspect that we're pretty awful people if we say that somebody got a mental illness and then we watch what they do. If you say somebody got special needs, then why would you be watching them and holding them accountable like everybody else? Wouldn't you grade them on a curve? Wouldn't you go, whew, this guy? Because, I mean, what are we reacting to? What are we reacting to? You're the one that put him in a position where he thought he was God and could call himself Jesus. And you're the one told a guy that writes musical lyrics that he was a genius. Mm-hmm. You're the one that's like, so what do you expect? The guy married a whore. Like, what? Oh, Lord. Like, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, married her because she was one. Not he didn't know. He under...
What? I love how this is the best reaction from Shannon Sharpe. Like, Shannon Sharpe looks like he just saw a ghost in this frame. Because Kim Kardashian, it bewilders me the position of power that Kim Kardashian has built herself up to. Like, the idea that this woman is this influential, I kind of see her more the way Katt sees her, to be completely honest.
What do you expect? The guy married a whore. Like, what?
Oh, Lord.
Like, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, married her because she was one. Not he didn't know. He understood that he wanted that. He courted that. That's what he wanted, to base his family on.
She got a good heart, though. I know what you're going to say. Don't you say it, Katt. Don't you say it. I'm going to move the conversation.
If what I'm saying is not correct, then how does she end up with Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson catches strays in every conversation, man. Can we just let Pete Davidson live? He's a young comic. He's slinging dick. We just all wish we were Pete Davidson, bro. Come on. Let the man live.
I mean, it happens all the time.
And what if...
Shout out Metaphoria in the chat. What up, my brother?
You weren't even good enough for Pete and he leaves you. What do that mean the product was? No, I don't support or villainize Kanye because I don't understand what it is we want from him. I don't know why we look at a basketball player and say, he didn't score no hockey goals this whole season. He don't play hockey. Kanye don't say nothing I can agree with. Okay. He was the weird guy in the beginning with the pink sweaters when we met him. Like, what do you think moving to a beat of your own drum? This dude started a church and kept cussing. Nobody in black church said nothing. You would have thought all the pastors would have came. You can't be no gospel artist. You just said, fuck that bitch. Nobody said nothing. Because T.D. Jakes over there with P. Diddy. Like,
come on, Katt.
Only the guy you had here has been upfront and honest and a man of God and humble and took the L's he had to take and didn't.
I did see it was trending though, but I ain't know. I ain't know why, Katt. I don't. Let me go to this question right here. This question
All
right
people that love the truth got to be happy if the truth coming out and lies is getting exposed. That's just what time it is. 2024.
Wow, my man Katt Williams setting the tone. But look, he makes a really good point about Ye here, because this is sort of why I've kind of detached from the whole Kanye stuff. What do people exactly want from Kanye is my question. I feel like the thing with Kanye is that when he used to have explosive, unfiltered opinions in the past, I feel like a lot more people just happen to agree with him. But the man has not changed. Like, the man who said George Bush doesn't care about black people is the same man that said he loves the Nazis. It's the same dude. It's the same delivery. It's just you don't agree with the one and you agree with the other. I feel like his explosive opinions in the beginning were a lot more towards the popular opinion. So he got championed for sharing his opinion when it was popular, but he wasn't doing it to be popular. That just happened to be how he felt, and more people just happened to agree. Now he's doing the same delivery for his unpopular opinions, and he's sort of like, I feel like, bewildered because he's not getting the same response. But we have to understand, it's the same dude. You just happened to agree with him before because his opinion was more popular. So, I don't know what people want from Kanye, because for me, I don't want anything from Kanye except for music. I don't want shit from Kanye. I don't care what Kanye thinks or feels about the world. I don't give a fuck. And neither should you, to be completely frank.
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin prank.
We're going to keep it going. We're hitting all the angles today, man. We got Katt Williams speaking hella truth on all. Actually, you know what we'll do? We're going to go to this other clip just to break it up a little bit. This is the one interview that a lot of people haven't seen. And watch, they're going to fucking suppress it now. Look, it's going to be hard to find. Here it is. So this media outlet, I'll give full credit to them. They're called Black Tree TV. Shout out to Black Tree TV. They went to a corporate Hollywood interview for Scary Movie 4, which was, by the way, I believe a Harvey Weinstein production. And instead of asking about Scary Movie 4, or I believe it might have been the fifth one, they asked about the Illuminati to Katt, and Katt just completely broke it down, man. This is a pretty rare interview. So we're going to go back to the Shannon Sharpe, but this one has to be broadcasted as well. And Katt Williams, definitely on my interview bucket list as well. Definitely one of the top people I want to interview in the game.
Katt Williams, Black Tree. Take one of one.
There was a recent controversy online. I know you don't spend all your time online about Kevin Hart wearing a dress in the SNL skit. And Dave Chappelle spoke about that as a comedian. Black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that? And what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
Well, thanks for that softball question. It's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we had Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
Now, you guys got to remember that this interview came out. This was published January 3rd, 2017. So 2017 for Scary Movie 5, this is the attitude that Katt had. But we got to remember, 2017... he's been dealing with this shit ever since. So I think the attitude that we see now in the Shannon Sharpe interview is because this coy sort of approach of kind of hinting at it or nudging at the point isn't working. Katt's sick of this shit. And I think that's what we're seeing now in the Shannon Sharpe interview.
I mean, we all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
Yeah.
But now it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times.
Right.
I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
All right. How do you handle that? Because they put your name in the press with a lot of rumors and a lot of situations that they try to put on Katt Williams. Do you feel ever the need to, like, I got to go defend this and put out a story about who I am, or do you just let that kind of like roll off your back when
Well,
people...
as you can see, I've let it all go for quite some time, and a lot of that is just based upon the fact that I don't really know how to complain because all of the people that I ever looked up to had to go through it too. So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles. So now I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way. I didn't know it was going to be this type of hatred, but you know, I'm concrete in all things because of He who strengthens me. So that doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am going to stand by what I stand for. And I'm only continuing to do it because I was looking for somebody who was doing it instead of me. And I just must have missed them, you know what I mean? So at some point you have to figure out what example are you trying to be.
There we go. Legendary Katt Williams interview from Scary Movie 5. We got this clip here from the latest interview on the Club Shay Shay. Let's see what we got. Taraji P. Henson, Steve Harvey. Let's look at some more Kevin Hart.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't.
I know we played this part, but he's leading into more.
But I'm not scared of being the competition anymore than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources, and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharpe got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life. So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same.
So I just want to make sure.
Okay, no.
Okay, we saw most of this, man. A lot of these clips, they're putting the same parts in, and they're just putting it under different titles. So we're just navigating through the official page here for the Shannon Sharpe podcast. I'm curious to see what else he's got to say, man. I don't know about you guys, but this has been definitely fascinating so far. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what his chain was, too. We'll zoom in on it in a second when we can actually see what it is. Let's go to Katt Williams on his net worth. Let's see where Google puts Katt Williams for his net worth, by the way. Just to see if it compares to what he's going to talk about. Ha! 2 million, my ass. 5 million, they say here. So it's saying from 2 to 5 million. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, and we're gonna look at what he has to say. I'm sure he'll give us a hint as to whether or not Google is legitimate. Yeah, Shannon's gonna milk this interview forever. Absolutely, man. And listen, as he should. He did his big one with this interview, man. Shout out to Shannon Sharpe. Like, listen, as an interviewer, especially, it encourages me that an interview can be this fucking impactful, man. This makes you want to keep doing interviews. So let's look at this chain. What is this chain? Yeah, it does look like a steering wheel to a yacht. That's what Johnny was saying in the chat. Yeah, definitely some kind of steering wheel. All right, this is Katt Williams speaking on his net worth.
I'm one of the richest men that ever lived. And I don't mean, please don't look at my net worth. I saw my net worth. I had that on me.
There you go. So it's completely wrong. Katt Williams. That was cool. He had it on him, he said. Bro, that has to be sampled in like a rap song. Man, I saw my net worth. I had that on me. Beat drop. Hardest fucking intro ever.
I'm one of the richest men that ever lived. And I don't mean, please don't look at my net worth. I saw my net worth. I had that on me.
That's hard.
I don't even. I swear to God. What I'm saying is, like,
Shannon loved that.
I'm saying my net worth is less than my last Netflix deal. You understand what I'm telling you?
Make it make sense.
But I'm fine. Jesus was poor. Jesus ain't had nothing. So why don't we be mad you say I don't have nothing?
They had the amenities they had back then, okay?
Say it again?
We got different amenities now.
Not more than gold. Gold was the amenity of that time. We still got gold. Gold still run it.
They have no Rolls Royce. They got you can buy an ass. That's what they call it in the biblical time. They would cheat.
Man, why is Shannon Sharpe doing this weird voice? Has anybody else noticed that? Like, Shannon Sharpe doesn't usually speak like this.
I'm saying, if you really want to say, I'm saying a color nan is cheap. So back in the day, I would get my girl a donkey. Today we get her a color nan. But I'm saying whoever, whatever it is, I'm saying we. I'm saying because what we gonna do? I done already told you I'm one of the richest people that ever lived.
Yes.
Only in the fact that when I wake up in the morning, no matter where I am, I don't need nothing. Whatever I need is right around me, and whatever I don't have, it's only just because I don't have it. It's not because I can't get it. All I gotta do is want it, and it belongs to me. So because of that, because I'm favored by God, like when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Come on, man.
See, he evens it out with a joke, but guys, you gotta realize he was putting us on the big game there with that mindset. And that mindset, I would be willing to say that mindset is the reason that Katt Williams is in the position that he's in today. Really peep game on that, man, because he tries to play it off with the Diddy shit, but that is facts.
So you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want.
Not me personally, just because God has given me literally everything I ever even pump faked like I want. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is I don't have a type of woman. Every woman that I ever had as a type, I ended up getting her. Now she's not the type anymore. Now I understand that every woman is a one of one. Like you can't really have types.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
You financed your first stand-up. You had it cost you $22,000. You had 25 to your name.
Yep.
Why did you decide to do that? You believe that much in Katt?
I believe that much in business. In business, the goal is for you to become independent and be the boss, take the responsibility, and also get the profit.
Okay.
That's all. How can I be looking for you to put me on if I wouldn't? And if I can't show you what you missed out on, why would you believe me? Now, the fact that I was able to do it 12 times, that's the real thing. The part that I'm able to do it all across the country. The fact that every time I do a tour or a special, you think, well, that's sponsored by somebody. Somebody did a good job. No, just...
That's right, Metaphoria.
Just the guy they're kicking around. Just the one that might mentally not be all there. He's the one picking the outfits, writing this guy's material, booking the shows, making sure he gets there. He's the one hiring the other comedians. But hey, I knew that that's the end goal. So if that's the end goal and I'm there when I start, why would I deviate from that?
Right.
Remember, my goal was to get this far in Hollywood and still have a virgin asshole and never have sucked a penis. That was my only goal.
Mic drop. They should have just ended it right there. Mic drop. Damn. That I would put that on my tombstone if I was a comedian. Here lies a virgin ass and an unsucked dick. Just right on my fucking tombstone. Just no confusion. Make no mistakes about me and where I'm coming from.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared. She might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that. And remember, I told you the drug story from when I'm in the park.
Yeah.
So these are just the things. I had all of those when I came in. I already was ready for that. That's what they don't like.
I did not know. You're telling me and showing me a side of the business that I didn't know.
Shannon, shut the fuck up, man. Come on now. A side of the business you didn't know? Bro's one of the most successful radio commentators, sports commentators in the world, talking about a side of the Look, he looks like he's lying too. He's like, man, you're showing me a side of the business that I don't know. Okay, Shannon Sharpe. Multi-millionaire Shannon Sharpe. Bro, you're sitting in a fucking throne right now. Bro's in a mansion talking about a side of the business that I didn't know. Come on, bro.
That you guys are, man, the competition, the competitiveness.
That's all business. I don't care if they're selling Coke. You wouldn't believe the things that Coca-Cola says about Pepsi. You wouldn't believe the water conversations between Dasani and Liquid Death. Like in all business, in all sport, competition is a driving force. And I don't require anybody to be better. Who am I? I just require if you're a loser and you've taken shortcuts at every chance, and you've made sure that you didn't put anybody on that really had a work ethic and was a God-fearing person, and you helped that. If that was never you, then don't act like that's you. Don't get out here now that you don't do stand-up and start acting like, oh, you're not sure why you don't do stand-up no more. I heard you got run off.
Back to Steve Harvey. Dude, this guy hates Steve Harvey. Look at the anger in Katt's face when he talks about Steve Harvey, because he mentioned it earlier in the stream if anybody's just joining. Damn.
You better be careful. The nigga that run you off gonna show up and he gonna tell everybody. Man, what you gonna be able to say? Nothing. Why you think I speak with such clarity? I'm actually involved in each one of these stories I told you about. Right. Right.
Bro's like the Joker of comedy.
The one comedian, as we've been sitting here doing this interview, that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was...
All right, we saw this part already, man. Damn. Is there any more? I hope there's a little bit more. Give me a little bit more. Katt Williams was homeless during the filming of Friday. What?
I had Terry Crews on.
So that's probably why he hates Steve Harvey, because he was saying that Steve Harvey was pretending that he was homeless. According to Katt Williams, again, I can't confirm this, but I will take Katt's word for it based on his honesty. He's saying Steve Harvey was pretending he was homeless when he never was homeless, going out doing tours, this and that, and he's used that to write books, do motivational speeches, talk about it on his TV show, and make a lot of money. So if Katt was actually homeless, it completely makes sense why he would be totally pissed off at that. I would be pissed if one of my colleagues did that shit.
On here, he said at the time that you did the movie, you were homeless.
See you, Johnny.
True. I had Terry Crews on here. He said at the time that you did the movie, you were homeless. Is that true?
This was my situation. 5 months prior to me getting this first audition for Friday After Next, I got this baby son. I'm holding him up above me. He grabs my little chain. He's playing with it, and he accidentally drops it. It breaks out my front 2 teeth. I'm in a situation now where when I go to the dentist, they telling me this gonna cost thousands and thousands of dollars to fix this right. They not telling me what it's gonna look like. I go get an estimate with no money involved, find out what I need to do. They find out you got a tumor in your upper jaw, so we're gonna have to do a whole surgery for you. It's gonna be 100 bands. I don't have it. And I'm only gonna have this check from this movie. So while I'm doing this movie, we live in this trailer. This is where we live. So when they come to work at 5 in the morning, we already there. When they leave at night, we still there. We just double back because we understood that this is our one opportunity. And we have this opportunity to change our lives, just like a young man going for the draft.
Right.
We can actually get in the league with this. There are 30 comedians on this cast. They're all magnificent. This is the holy grail of the situation. So yeah, I was able to make sure that, because it wasn't just my first movie, it was KD Albert's first movie, it was Terry Crews' first movie.
Absolutely.
I was the leader of this group, which meant that we didn't do their rehearsals, they did rehearsal, we did our own rehearsals daily to make sure that we were at the level of professional actors, which is what made it so egregious.
Chills hearing that, man. See, that's the type of dedication that you need. You know, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, I couldn't do all that type of stuff. It isn't worth it. But the way he phrases it is so right. You have one shot to change your life in certain circumstances and scenarios, man. And you got to take advantage of that. I think his chain is a steering wheel for a boat, Cobb.
That guy. Saying, I was supposed to. You were supposed to what?
Katt, he did have a good part in the movie, man. The Santa Claus was funny, man.
The dude said the entire time we were filming, I can't play this role. They got a bandana over my nose and my mouth. My family not even gonna know who this is. So yeah, tell your story.
Terry Crews also said that you guys had a lot of conversation, that this was your opportunity and you needed to seize this moment.
Terry had the benefit of having been in some very high-profile situations already and took L's. Mm-hmm. Like, he had been in the league, you know what I mean? He had done pro wrestling. He had done a lot of things. He had been televised in some things that hadn't worked.
Right.
And this was just fortuitous for him. And now you know what nobody has ever said in the whole industry in 20 years about, you know, the whole Money Mike not getting raped in the bathroom.
Right.
So I understood going
What up, Seb? Yeah, man, he went crazy.
No reason. I lost for a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, that all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? Mm-hmm. And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was. And acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard, but...
Crazy, man. Seb, what do you think is the craziest revelation, man? You think it would be the Harvey Weinstein? I mean, I feel like the Ludacris stuff with Diddy, for me...
You consider yourself a king of comedy?
I don't know where that's coming from. The Diddy stuff for me with Ludacris has been the craziest thing so far, man. Honestly. And the Ludacris response... Guys, it was ridiculous, the response of this guy. Let me see this. Katt paid $75K on Icon's Walk of Fame star. What?
You were the sole sponsor of Melba Moore getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You did all that on your own. Why? Do you have a personal relationship with Melba?
No. I understood that she was a black woman in a time where it mattered what you look like, and they had a certain thing that they needed you to look like and act like.
I'll play the Luda again.
Right.
And she just never did that. She wasn't tall enough. She wasn't fine.
Oh, my bad. I'm talking on mute. I'm saying we're playing the Luda again. And it's hard for me to believe that this Ludacris clip is even real, but we're going to play this Luda clip again. He responded with like a diss track, which is ridiculous. I got like 100 burner accounts just to find clips for the stream. So check this out again. For anybody who missed it, man, if you're just tuning in, we've been covering the Katt Williams, of course, interview on the Shannon Sharpe podcast. And he exposed Ludacris for going in, basically partying with Diddy, which, you listen, at this point, you kind of know what that means. You know, partying with Diddy. That's kind of like when a guy comes up to you in the club bathroom and says, "You partying tonight?" I mean, you're saying partying, but you know exactly what the fuck he's talking about, man. So that's basically the situation that Ludacris was caught in. And I guess this was his response. This is very strange to me.
Whatever's heavy on my heart is always on my mind. Like Snoop's cannabis shredder, I'm always on my grind. They throwing shade cause niggas could never take my shine. I bring my watch collection on my jet, let me take my time. Like fine wine, I'm aging like Benjamin. Top 5, I'm worth mentioning. Bring me rappers, I'm lynching them. See the pendulum swing, Jesus with diamond thorns. Ludacris, swaddled in Gucci linens when I was born. Never been Illuminati, only Illuminati. And I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Now I'm married with kids, the evolution of life. Never been a clout chaser, never say shit for likes. R.I.P. John Singleton. You never have to flex when you earn every one of your Fast and Furious checks. Afro with the sideburns. Yeah, that's my signature. Addiction's on the rise. Comedians check your temperature.
This rap is sponsored by Pfizer, bro. This rap is sponsored by Pfizer. I don't get, like, what was that? Doesn't even sound like Ludacris wrote that. Any club I ever left with, it was with bitches. That sounds like exactly what a guy who would party with Diddy would say. I only leave the club with bitches, man. Who the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? No, that's just bizarre, man. Oh, Luda's an incredible artist. Don't get me wrong, but this was such a this does not sound like Ludacris, man. This is a fake ass rap. We'll pop into one more clip from the Katt interview, and then I think we'll hop over to this other story here about Rage Against the Machine. Let's check it out.
Very generous man, Katt. You were the sole sponsor of Melba Moore getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You did all that on your own. Why? What, do you have a personal relationship with Melba?
No. I understood that she was a black woman in a time where it mattered what you look like, and they had a certain thing that they needed you to look like and act like in order to be successful.
Right.
And she just never did that. She wasn't tall enough. She wasn't fine. They didn't like her looks. They didn't like that her hair was natural. They talked crazy about her, and yet she still made all of these achievements. And I'm like, understand, I'm already in the Comedy Hall of Fame. I'm already going to heaven no matter what happens. If it ends in a second, I'm up there. So it gives me the leeway to do some things that are simply because it's the right thing to do. So the truth of the matter is, they wanted to give me a star. But please don't consider me and this person been sitting on this list this whole time.
See you,
and just because they ain't got enough money, they can't get they just due? That's crazy. When do you start? That's hurtful. What if somebody can't afford their flowers? You mean they don't get them? No, God don't operate like that. He was sending a dummy like me to come and take care of that.
So he's saying, guys, that he had to pay to get his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So that's why he's basically making the point. You know, what if somebody can't afford to get their flowers? Because there's a lot that goes into these awards and, you know, these stars on the Walk of Fame, all this stuff. You know, they even caught Diplo saying that Beyonce bought an award, which, look, I think it's probably pretty easy to buy a Grammy. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So Katt Williams here confirming that he paid $75,000 for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Just so that the right thing happens. That's how the universe works. Because remember, what am I spending my money on? I'm not spending my money on strippers. I ain't spending them on drugs.
Why not?
Like,
Stripper
what?
parts.
Because if I go in a strip club, I'm only trying to get her out of there.
Yeah.
I have no intention of her or any other people being in this position. If I see a girl I like at the strip club, I'm telling her, you know you don't have to strip no more after this. This could be your last day. How about that?
Ooh.
What would it be like just to leave it all? You ain't gotta be a hoe no more.
I don't even want you to go get your purse. Just leave it.
Ain't nothing in
We
it.
get new ID. We get new ID and credit card and social security card.
We don't need none of that.
None of that.
None of that.
You
This life don't look good on you.
Yeah, shit.
You don't
My man Shannon's faded.
Got me thinking, Cat.
Right. You hear these athletes talking about, yeah, we was out there tricking. What? Why?
Man, I really feel like it's the era of the relaxed interview, man. Like, honestly, that seems to be sort of the next wave. And I've sort of been riding that, like, with my Zoom interviews and the stuff I've been doing this year. But the chilled back, sort of having a drink, laid back interview, that seems to be what's taken over. You know, like the daytime talk show sort of vibe for interviews is pretty much dead. So I feel like that's sort of the vibe for 2024.
You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
Youth Among Us, the GOAT.
Paying people that you don't have no respect for. It sets it up bad for us. We got women out here can't find a man because they acting like him. You are alpha.
Ooh, hold on a second. That was bars. We got women out here who can't find a man because they're acting like them.
Perfect.
Yeah, he hit it with that one. And they've proven, by the way, a lot of these girls, like, you know, you'll see these girls, they're on their independent shit. They don't want to, you know, they don't need a man. They don't need anybody. A lot of the time, they're statistically the most unhappy, which is really a shame. It's really a shame.
It sets it up bad.
But I'm not trying to get in too much trouble tonight on the stream.
For us.
I'll leave that to Katt.
Got women out here can't find a man because they acting like him. You are alpha. Now the alphas all want these subservient husbands. You can't have one.
No. That ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead. Boy, you done got me canceled how many times in this program?
I think you did that to yourself, my friend.
Cameron, I didn't write nothing I said tonight. It's all been on these cue cards, and I'm just gonna keep reading them. Ask your next question.
You adopted 7 kids. Why? That's a lot of kids for a man that's as busy as you are, travels as much as you do, on the road as much as you are, spend a lot of time, because you have to spend a lot. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, maybe it comes so natural to you to put pen to paper and to write things down and be able to go out there and perform a set. But that's a lot of responsibility, Katt.
Right. Right. But if there was a God, what would he think about you if you did that? I'm saying let's say, for example, that God is real.
Yes.
Okay? And let's say he be looking at what you do.
Yes.
What would he say if you did that?
He said, that Katt, that's a very kind gesture. That's very generous of you.
My whole life, since I was telling you when I was young and they was asking me what I wanted to be, and nothing I wanted to be was what I wanted to be, God's friend. That's a weird thing if you're an atheist. If you're an atheist, I didn't even say nothing. But if you believe in God and I tell you that I wanted to be God's friend and I wanted to even go to Hollywood and still be God's friend, if I told you that that was my aim, you could understand where I'm at. Like, I promise you, no jealousy, no bitterness, no, none of that. I got exactly what I was trying to get. I haven't been shorted in any way.
I mean, 7, 8 kids, single. You gonna get married?
You remember the conversation where I was where
Yeah, this would be a legendary South Park episode meta.
it was me.
Yes.
And I didn't know what was going to happen to my two little brothers, and
Yes.
they was just going to be out there.
Yes.
So when it come full circle, and I'm one of the richest men that ever lived, and I don't mean, please don't look at my net worth. I saw my net worth. I had that on me. I don't even.
Going
The
insane.
Migos. Do you help them get out of financial situation? The Migos. Do you help them get out of financial situation?
I don't think we ever, as a nation, can remember a time that the Migos were financially unsuccessful. So for the record, I would assume that they've never needed Katt Williams' financial assistance for anything. I'm sure that between QC, the label, and other things, they were taken care of. On the other hand, if I was given the opportunity to help them, would I? Of course I would. That's what I do. I'm a pro-black non-racist. Like, I really, really love black people, but I don't love them more than other people. I love everybody. I'm a black guy, and I try to stick with that. But yeah, I'm not one of those pillow talkers either. Like, when I do something good, I'm really not doing it for the gram. It's not for any of that. I'm just doing it because it's good to do.
I appreciate that. I don't know if this is true, but I did read that comedians on your show say that women sometimes would bring them money and not say where it came from.
Say that again?
Comedians would say women would bring them money and not say where it came from.
Right. So I'm not a feminist like a feminist would be, but I do believe that that in my camp, like if I had 35 people in my camp, right? I believe that other than 4 jobs, I believe that a woman is better at any of them jobs than any man could be.
Okay.
So 10 of these jobs, no man can work because I'd rather a female be there. If I gotta smell anybody's breath, I want it to be hers. I don't want none of you crusty. So what I'm saying is, if in a staffing issue, I'm gonna have 75% women just because I prefer them.
Right.
I don't prefer to hear 2 guys talking in the corner. I prefer to hear 2 ladies talking in the corner. I don't care what they're talking about. I just prefer that. So a lot of times I will utilize ladies to convey a message. If a comedian is doing a great job somewhere in the country, he just did a masterful set and nobody's gonna pay him. They just clapping. And I know he's broke as shit back there. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody just showed up and gave him a little blessing? And he didn't have to suck me off for it. And thanks, Katt. And boy, I really needed it.
Man, that's so real, though, because every time you see somebody giving, I mean, it's exactly that. You see them giving. You know, I much prefer to hear about people who give. And I've heard, about guys who even have terrible reputations, who sort of play up a character of being narcissistic or not caring about others. I've seen those guys turn out to be, tremendous philanthropists and people who give back and do good on others. And they don't run around and jump around and talk about it. And to me, that's the marker of a true person who wants to give in a pure way. There's been people who've done things for me, and I've tried to do the same for them, and I don't try to jump around and talk about it. Like filming a homeless guy, on the street, giving him $5 or whatever, or even $100. It's just, it's a new thing because it's only started, but I feel like it's very bizarre and sort of like Orwellian. It's just, it's very strange.
Why would you do that? If you was actually just trying to help people, you would. People know that's how I pay my tithes. If I got paid $100,000
exactly, Johnny,
to be at your city, I'm gonna take 10,000 of that and put it in your homeless area. Not because I got to.
So he puts $10K a show to homeless people? Hold on a second.
I'm gonna take 10,000 of that and put it in your homeless area. Not cause I got to, cause you gave me 100 racks to come to your little rinky-dink town. Who would I be to not pay my tithes back to your town? That's how I got in this position.
Wow. And by the way, that's exactly what I've heard about Katt Williams. Like, I've interviewed people who've known him. You know, I've had Lunel on the show, doing an interview, and she spoke on Katt Williams, and she really said he was the first person to really help break her. But he continuously has done things for not only her, but many, many comedians, and not really asked for the credit for that. So, again, you hear stuff about negatives through the grapevine. A lot of the time it ends up being true, and a lot of the time when you hear the good things, it also ends up being true. It says it gets more and more rare in culture, especially younger generations. People would rather watch Mr. Beast on YouTube. Well, that's completely true. I enjoy Mr. Beast as well, but hey, no, honestly, no. It's and I think Mr. Beast is one of the only guys who does it in a tasteful way. Because I do think there's a way to go about it. I think that, for me at least, the most problematic stuff is like the walking up to homeless people and waving money in their face and filming it. I think that's humiliation, basically. And you could put a nice piano track on it, but it doesn't really change the fact that it's still humiliating. People put a nice music score and they think that it makes up for what they're doing. I don't believe it does.
Wow. You adopted 7 kids. Why? That's a lot of kids for a man that's as busy as you are, travels as much as you do, on the road as much as you are, spend a lot of time, because you have to spend a lot. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, maybe it comes so natural to you to put pen to paper and to write things down and be able to go out there and perform a set. But that's a lot of responsibility, Katt.
Right. But if there was a God, what would he think about you if you did that? I'm saying let's say, for example, that God is real.
Yes.
Okay? And let's say he be looking at what you do.
Yes.
What would he say if you did that?
He said, that Katt, that's a very kind gesture. That's very generous of you.
My whole life, since I was telling you when I was young and they was asking me what I wanted to be, and nothing I wanted to be was what I wanted to be, God's friend. That's a weird thing if you're an atheist. If you're an atheist, I didn't even say nothing. But if you believe in God and I tell you that I wanted to be God's friend and I wanted to even go to Hollywood and still be God's friend, if I told you that that was my aim, you could understand where I'm at. Like, I promise you, no jealousy, no bitterness, no, none of that. I got exactly what I was trying to get. I haven't been shorted in any way.
I mean, 7, 8 kids, single. You gonna get married?
You remember the conversation where it was me?
Yes.
And I didn't know what was gonna happen to my 2 little brothers and
yes.
they was just gonna be out there?
Yes.
So when it gone full circle and I'm one of the richest men that ever lived. And
There we go, man. Katt Williams shaking it up on the Shannon Sharpe podcast, man. Tremendous interview. Let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments, man. And if you enjoy these streams, man, make sure you're subscribed. We're going to be back on tomorrow. We got a bunch of other stuff to cover. So just stay tuned, man. Have a safe night. We'll catch you later.